LeetCode problem number 435, non-overlapping intervals. So this problem gives us an array of intervals, where each intervals there's a start and end, and the goal is to return the minimum number of intervals we will need to remove to make the rest of the intervals non-overlapping. So what this means here, let's say for example, if you take a look at these intervals, so 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, right? So we know that this entire these three intervals are actually overlapping, right? So what we will need to do is to just remove actually no, they are not overlapping, right? So 1, 2, 2, 3, and 3, 4, right? And then we have one extra 1, 3, right, which covers 1, 2, 2, 3, right? So what we need to do is actually remove this 1, 3, then we will have a non-overlapping array, right? So example here also gives us when you remove 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and here we can see that these intervals are good, right, because they do not overlap each other, 1, 2, and 2, 3. Okay, so this is how I solved this problem. So let's say we have these intervals here, right? So I save the size, which is 4, and here I sort the intervals not based on the first value, but based on the second value instead, right? So here 2, 3, and over here this will actually be placed, if I'm not mistaken, over here. Okay, yeah, so it's sorted in ascending order, but on the end instead of the start, and you'll see why in a bit. Okay, after sorting it, here I have the start, which is 0, and the count, which is 1. So count is what I'll use to deduct from size to get the number of intervals we need to remove. Okay, next I have I, which we are starting at 1. So we're looking at 2, 3, looping until the end of the intervals. So here I have a if statement. So if I, which is 2, 3, if the start of this interval, which is 2, is more than the start n, which it is, or more than equals to, right? Since this is more than equals to this, so start will be replaced with this I, right? Meaning that this is good to go. So start will become 1, right? Meaning that these are actually non-overlapping, so that's why. And then count will increment, so 2. Next we look at the next interval, 1, 3, and since 1 is smaller than 3, right, meaning that this 1 is actually overlapping somewhere in front, right, because this 1 shouldn't be here, it should be more than 3. So that's why start will not increment, nor would count, or more like start will not be updated, and count will still remain the same. So that means we are reserving one spot to remove this interval, right? We are maintaining our start at 2, 3. Next we look at 3, 4. Since 3, 4, the start of this interval is bigger or equals to this interval, which is 3, since they are the same, so start will be updated to 3, 4, which is 3, and count will increment to 3. So now once we have done that, this for loop will end because it has reached the end of the list. And here we are returning size minus count, right? So size is 4, count is 3, 4 minus 3 is 1, meaning that we will only need to remove one interval, right? Which is the same here. Okay, so let's try another example. Let's try this one, I guess. Let's try this one, right? The one that we will not be removing anything. Okay, so size is 2, start is 1, count is 0. Sorry, count is 1, start is 0. I is 0. I is 1, sorry. Okay, so straight away we are using this and comparing this. Since 2, 2, since they are the same, right? Since they're the same, start will be replaced with 1. Count will increment. This for loop will end. Return size minus count. 2 minus 2 is 0, right? Okay, so that's relatively simple. So let's do another one. Let's do this last one, I guess. Okay, size is now 3, start is 0, count is 1, and like so. So we are comparing this with this, and since 1 is actually smaller than 2, so this if statement does not trigger, and I will just increment to 2. Same thing happens here to 3. Since I has reached the end of the list, we return size minus count. Size is 3, count is 1, meaning we are removing 3 minus 1 is 2, which means we are removing 2 intervals from this list to make it non-overlapping. Okay, I think that's all the examples I will use. That's all I will show. Thanks.